Take it to the counterterrorism analyst Aaron Cohen right now for his analysis. Aaron's a veteran of Israeli special ops and has joined us a number of times throughout this war. Let me start with where Robert started on this idea that maybe we were going to see some sort of a pause for hostages and prisoners and some sort of a swap. I think it started with an Axios scoop, so put up the headline there where Israel proposed a 2-month fighting pause in Gaza for the release of all of those hostages. But as Robert reports, that seems to have been rejected. Was this a good idea to begin with, or what's your take on it?
Well, Connell, it's important to the way I try and look at this, and the way I'm trying to deliver it to listeners out there. There's an expression in Arabic, and it's "bedak al haqawahu," which means that do we want the truth or do we want his brother? And we need to understand the way the Arab Muslim world sees this conflict. They see October 7th as a complete win. They see any IDF soldier getting killed as a complete win. This all spawning from Iran. So regarding the negotiations, regarding getting a deal, getting a ceasefire in place, as your reporter just mentioned. In the Middle East, it's important to understand that yes means no and no means maybe. We never thought we'd be in another agreement at this point right now, or that there would even be dialogue. But we have dialogue. And that's the way the Middle East works. It works very slowly. It's a drip process through osmosis. But ultimately, the diffusion does lead to conversations. And what I believe is happening right now is Israel has continued to mount the pressure, both aerial, but really more with ground operations since Biden came out a month ago and said, Israel, you got to start pumping the brakes. There's too many civilians getting killed. Right. Starts getting a little critical there. And so now I see the beginning of the formation of dialogue, which is going to start to unravel. It's just the way things work in the Middle East.
Well, I think it's interesting the way you're putting it, because we have politics on our mind here. As we have this New Hampshire primary in the United States that we're covering today. We were just talking about this a few minutes ago, that sometimes you have to read between the lines when these politicians speak. What do they really mean by what they're saying? And you're saying that could mean a whole different type of situation when you talk about geopolitics, especially in that part of the world. Now, they're speaking about it in this part of the world as well. I want to play what John Kirby at the White House had to say about this topic, about the hostages and the negotiations yesterday, and then come back and talk about it. Here's Kirby.
We continue to be in touch with our counterparts, our allies and partners, about trying to get those hostages out, trying to get the appropriate humanitarian pause in place so that we can do that and get additional aid in, as well as making sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself.
But this idea, though, of a deal where you literally, hostage negotiator Gershon Baskin brought this up on the program yesterday, had a all of the hostages for all of the prisoners. And it could be 10,000 prisoners, Palestinians being held in Israel. Does that make sense to you?
I don't think that's going to happen. Israel's certainly not going to release prisoners. These are terrorists. These are people who have been convicted of murdering Israelis. Fundamentally, they're aligned with Hamas and Islamic Jihad, so that's not on the table. But the way these negotiations typically work in Israel with terror groups, even though technically we don't negotiate with terrorists, neither does the U.S., I think what we're going to see right now, again, is that little trickle effect where things are going to start to open up. But really for Israel, and I think Bibi's been very tough with this right now, but what he's managed to do for the first time, I think, in this campaign, Connell, is get that leverage. That leverage is what Bibi wants. And the reason why is because whoever has got the least amount of leverage isn't going to have that command ground when it comes to getting what they want. And the fact that Hamas is even engaging in this dialogue means that they're feeling the pressure, which means that ground campaign is working. Hamas is saying we want the war to end. Bibi's saying you're not going to end the war. We want the destruction of Hamas. And so this is how this is going to start creeping towards these two.
Do you think his timing has anything to do with our election here in the U.S.? And again, maybe we just have it on our minds right now. But do you think Netanyahu's thinking about that November of 2024 and who wins and how that affects his world? Or
well, that's an excellent question, Connell. I do think there's an effect. I think that Biden has put a lot of pressure on Bibi, which is causing a lot of pressure internally on Bibi. And I think Bibi in his mind is going, man, would it be great to have Trump in the driver's seat? I know they were very close. We saw how close they were. However, that's still a ways away. And a lot of people can still get killed, both on Israel's side and on the Palestinian side, because we're in war right now, which leads to that next piece that you had brought in, which was the 24 Israelis who were just killed.
Exactly. We saw deadliest day of the war for Israel, for the IDF so far. Aaron Cohen, thank you for your analysis.